going to find out about a Muslim that was raised from the dead in the morgue. Guess what he believes about Jesus now? He developed a deadly disease. Tell me about that, Nasser.
I got very sick, and it started off with blisters on the side of my neck, and by the morning it had grown to blisters half inch in size on the side of my neck. They examined me and they said that his immune system has shut down. This is spreading across his body. We can't do anything about the hypothermia because the brain had cooked itself, and they said I would probably be dead by the morning.
You hear this horrible report.
Yes.
You're a Muslim.
Yes.
Did you prepare? What does a Muslim think when he gets a death sentence? Like,
Allah is not a healer. Muhammad is not a healer, so we don't turn to Allah to heal us. We assume that we're going to die. But I was afraid of death, Sid. I was petrified of death.
Why?
I didn't know what was on the other side, but I was afraid of it. And the very people that I had my faith in, my trust in, were those doctors. And they had just given up. What do you do when the people you got your trust in have given up on you and left you to die? In fear, I cried out. I said, God, if you're real, don't let me die. That's what I cried out. Muhammad didn't come, Allah didn't come, but that night, in that room, there appeared a figure at the end of the bed. And this person...
Wait a second. Had you ever seen something supernatural like this before in your entire life?
Never.
There's your first time?
Yes.
Okay. Now there's this figure.
Yes.
And are you scared? What's going on?
No, not at all. I wasn't scared at all. In the middle of the night, I see this figure at the end of the bed, and it was the outline of a person with light radiating from them. I couldn't tell you the way the face looked, but all I could see was this outline of a person with light. Now, I knew it was Jesus. These people come to me and they say, but you're a Muslim. Muslims don't know Jesus. Oh, yes, they do. If you read the Quran, Jesus is mentioned many times as a good man, as a healer, as a prophet. Even his birth is mentioned, and that he healed people.
But the main thing I understand about Islam, they say God has no son.
That's
look at the mosque when they have it right on top in Jerusalem.
That's right. He has no son. Well, this person that appeared said two things. I'm the God of the Christians, and I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Wait a second. As a Muslim, isn't it Abraham, Ishmael, and Jacob?
That's right. Ishmael was supposed to be the firstborn,
right?
Not Isaac, but that's not what this person said. Abraham, Isaac. So to me, it meant a whole lot. But even more astounding was that the next morning, the same doctors walked in and they said, we don't understand what's happened. It is a miracle. It has gone into remission. Instead of spreading, they are starting to decrease.
Now, when they said that to you, what did you think?
I said, look, I don't know what to tell you, but there was a person.
You told them? Oh, they're going to put you in a mental ward.
I told them there was Jesus here, and he healed me. And
a Muslim saying that, they're going to put him away.
They didn't believe me. And that became a test case in the city of Toronto. Why is this man alive? In fact, they said it's gone into remission so much, you can go home now. And I said, no, I don't want to go home. That was my security. That little room was my security.
You wanted that man to come back?
Yes, absolutely. This doesn't make any sense. Is this Jesus that appeared in my room, is he a prophet, the way the Muslims had taught me all my life? Or is he the Son of God?
What did you do about that?
I had that burning question. Is Jesus really the Son of God? And I got home that day, the day I was released from the hospital. The next morning I wake up at 6 o'clock. I don't know why I woke up at 6, turned on the television. There were two men just like here talking about that very question. And on the screen it says, is Jesus the Son of God?
My goodness.
Coincidence? I don't think so. That was the very question that was in my heart. And they're talking back and forth. And they were talking about how God sent his Son to die on the cross for our sins because of his love for us.
Now, as a Muslim, what did this mean to you? It's so strange.
Well, as a Muslim, I was taught all my life that to know that you're going to heaven, your good works have to exceed your bad works. And it's only through works. The only exception of that in Islam is called jihad. Jihad is when you die for your cause. You die for your God. And here I'm hearing these two men talk about not dying for your God, but your God dying for you. I'd never experienced that kind of love in my life. And I said, could this be true? Could it be true that God, the Father, sent Jesus, the Son, to pay the price for my sins, for everything that I've done wrong? This was all new to me, but it was exciting. And these men were talking back and forth that yes, Jesus is the Son of God, and yes, it is documented that he walked the earth, and it is documented that he healed, and it is documented that he died on the cross and paid the price for the sins of all men.
So what happened with this horrific disease that you had?
Well, that day when that program finished, I got on my knees. They led me in a prayer. I asked Jesus to be the Lord of my life. I found a photograph of the way I used to look, and I started praying to this Jesus. Can you make me look like this again? I had looked 75 years old. My whole face is aged. 5 days later, I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning. The doctor said, don't scratch the blisters, they're contagious. But I saw some on my pillow, so I must have scratched them in the middle of the night. I got out of bed, stood under the shower, said for an hour and a half, every single blister from the top of my head, my face, my ear, my neck, my shoulder, fell. And the skin was red like raw meat. And the doctor said I would have white blotches, but as you can see, there's no blotches.
So is there any doubt in your mind that God is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and that Jesus is his son? Any doubt?
She